But we finna go back on this Dr. Umar, man. Y'all know the comments he made about Eminem. He went on IG Live, I guess, about a week ago, and talk. I guess trying to just reiterate or kind of just defend what he was saying or whatnot. This is a 30-minute live. I'm not finna watch the whole thing, but we gonna see if he say anything interesting, and see what he got to say, man. Because people were calling him racist. I ain't gonna say he was racist or nothing like that. I just didn't really like I didn't agree with what he said. Matter of fact, I'll say that. And by his logic, there's so much more to it, in regards to, you could say golf, you could say Tiger Woods, you could say basketball. Like I said before, basketball wasn't created by a black man, created by, James Naismith. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's by his, logic about Eminem can be the best, of that genre, because he's white. It can go the same way for black dudes who's the best at a certain occupation, and it was created by somebody other than black folks. You know what I'm saying? So by his logic, it's a little, whatever. But we gonna see what he said in here, man, and see if is he just on that same wave, defending, or did he kind of backtrack a little bit? I'm curious to see, but we gonna watch a little bit of it for sure. Let's get into it.
The reason I'm going live tonight is I want to address the Neanderthal nation. I'm going live tonight. I want to address the Neanderthal nation. Oh, yes, I do. I want to talk black to the Caucasians who have been stalking me for the past 48 hours. I want to talk to the Neanderthal nation tonight, the Caucasian community.
Okay.
You have been cyber stalking me for 48 hours, and I don't mind. I don't mind. You can continue to do it as long as you want, because I don't care if the opinion of every Caucasian is to the contrary. I say what I mean to say, and I stand on everything I say 10 toes down. But
okay, so right off the bat, he said he stand on everything he say. He 10 toes down when he mean what he say. Okay, Dr. Umar.
Let me say this to the Caucasian community. Let me say this to the Caucasian community. When I look at your anger, when I look at your rage, when I look at the responses from America's Caucasian community over this issue of Eminem being the GOAT of hip hop, and let me say this, I have nothing personal against Eminem. My comments on the Joe Budden podcast had nothing to do with Mr. Marshall Mathers personally, and I want Mr. Marshall Mathers to understand that Dr. Umar Ifatunde harbors no personal ill will towards you. This is not.
I mean, we knew that. We knew, like, off rip that it was nothing personal towards Eminem. It's just like his opinion. And it's funny how he's directing all of this to the white community, because I was kind of, if you watch the video I posted, I was kind of getting pissed off myself, and I'm black, but obviously I'm a huge Eminem fan, so I'm always going to defend him. So, but I'm just curious to see what he going to say. I'm listening.
Personal. This is business. This is not personal. This is business. Eminem, I want you to hear me, young man. This is not personal. This is business. You are a talented musician, lyricist, producer. You seem like you are an okay guy. You've never done nothing to me, and you've never done anything that I personally witnessed to be worthy of condemnation. So my comments are not personal. They apply to any non-African. This is about business, the business of protecting the integrity of African culture. I said my comments on the Joe Budden podcast was about business, not personal. The business of protecting the sacredness, authenticity, and integrity of African culture. I said that no non-African can ever be the best of anything in African culture. You can't be the best cook of African food. You can't be the best rapper of African hip hop. You can't be the best singer. You can't be the best priest of African culture. Nothing we create can a non-African be the best at. First of all, it makes absolutely no sense at all. I don't even see how.
See, that's where I disagree at. Because, like, I hear him speak, he's very, very passionate, and I'm glad. I mean, he's an activist. He stands up for, the black community and everything like that. So I can definitely see what he's coming from. But when he says no non-African can be the best at anything non-African, it goes back to literally what I just said. What are we gonna do with Tiger Woods? What are we gonna do with Michael Jordan? Those occupations weren't created by black folks. Basketball was not created by a black person. And there's so many other things as well, how we put black people at the top, but it wasn't so that double standard. You see what I'm saying? Why when it comes to hip hop, Eminem can't be the greatest, but Michael Jordan, LeBron can be the greatest of basketball? It's his logic. It's like he's almost contradicting himself. And I just mentioned just golf and basketball. I'm sure I can write down a list of every single occupation that was created by a white person that and the America calls a black person the best. And by no means I'm not like picking sides or anything like that. I just genuinely think Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time. Like I said, and he's standing what he's saying. I'm standing what I said. You know what I'm saying? I think hip hop is global now. I think Eminem, like he said, is in fact a guest in hip hop. But I feel like when you got somebody like Rakim, Redman, Cool G Rap, LL Cool J, when you got all these different dudes who came before Eminem, give him props and say he's a very, very talented rapper. Jay-Z, for instance, is in a lot of people's top 5. A lot of people say he's the GOAT in the industry. Eminem is in his top 5. What are we going to do about that? Same thing with Rakim. So it's like, his logic is, kind of like, I don't really get. But like I said, and I know the video I posted, everybody's kind of had their opinion and stuff, but I'm not bashing. It's like I can definitely see where Dr. Umar is coming from for sure. He's just very, very passionate about the black community, and he just doesn't want anybody non-African to have that title of the best. And honestly, I can't really even get mad at that. I'm just curious, like if he had a top 5, I'm just kind of curious to see if Eminem is in his top 5 rappers all time or even top 10. But like I said, he got a point, but it's just like I feel like some of the stuff he's saying is kind of contradicting and could go either way, like for other different things as well. His logic.
An African can come to the conclusion that a non-African can be the best at anything when we are the oldest people. We are the first people, and we are the most numerous people. So when you say a non-African is better at X, Y, and Z than a member of the race, you're saying that this person can do this better than 2 billion Africans. Or you're saying not only can they do it better than 2 billion Africans on the planet, you're saying they can do it better than all of the billions of Africans that have ever walked.
See, he's just, I don't know. He's going into just like, I think a little too deep into it. Like when I feel like anybody, no matter who you are, when you're deciding who's the best of something, it shouldn't really take an account of like where they came from, how they look, how much money they have, this and that. But for instance, I'm gonna just do rap. The criteria I have for rap as far as who can be the best rapper of all time is skill set, creativity, longevity, impact, and influence. I think Eminem checks those boxes at each and every one of them. Eminem literally, like I said, brought a whole new wave of people to hip hop. A lot of them white who weren't even into hip hop or didn't even know what it was. And he brought them into hip hop. Like he said on that song with Easy Mill, he turned it into a mansion. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, I see what he's saying, but I think he's getting a little bit too deep into it. Dr. Umar was sort of like, I think he's just so passionate about what he believes in and just like, and I'm not denying, I'm on his side too. I'm all for Black Coach. I'm all for that. It's just like, I just feel like when people can still say Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time, skill set wise, there's like the stuff that Eminem's able to do, bend words together and wordplay and the cadences, the longevity. It's just like, you can't deny it. But I don't know, man.
The planet Earth. You know, and I know that is absolutely ridiculous. You know, and
no, I don't know that's ridiculous. That's just what
I know that is absolutely ridiculous. You know, like I know that is absolutely ridiculous. And from a cultural integrity perspective, this is not about Mr. Marshall Mathers. I don't have nothing personal against that man. But from a personal, from a cultural integrity perspective, haven't they stolen enough from us? Haven't they appropriated enough from us? Haven't they robbed, stealed, killed, enslaved, lynched, miseducated, mass incarcerated, politically dominated us enough that you mean to tell me?
See, that's where I feel like another thing that's just like, because once again, I get what he's saying. We, as black folks, we've been through a lot, for sure. So I don't even got to get into all the slavery stuff and all the stuff he's talking about. But it's just like, it almost seems to where by his logic right there is like, it's almost like, dang, white folks has been on top and just been controlling us and just been abusing us for so many years. And finally, when we got something that we created and we empowered, y'all gonna give it up to a white person and say this person's the best at it? I think that's where he's trying to go to it. But I think, like I said, it's equal. We're all about equality. It can't go either. It can't go, because if it was vice versa, just think of it if the roles were reversed, right? Just think of it if the roles were reversed, right? And say hip hop because I guarantee you, Dr. Umar would say this, right? Say hip hop was created by like white people, right? And it was all white culture. And you know how Eminem is like a guest in hip hop. Say, it's Jay-Z, for instance. They were saying Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time, but hip hop was a white culture. Then he would be defending us black folks. Like, man, y'all try to basically saying that, a black person can't come into a predominantly white thing and be the best. So it could work either way. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious to think or to, sorry, I'm stuttering my words. I was curious to, know how he would feel if the roles were reversed, right? If hip hop was created by white people and then black people trying to be the best, and if white people didn't accept it, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely agree with him. Black folks, we've been struggling and battling for years, for sure. From the racial inequality that we still go through, the police brutality, slavery, and how it was back in the day, even before that, and we have people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. History is one of my favorite subjects, so I'm all for black empowerment and just equal rights, equality. I'm all for what he's saying, for sure. I just think in the context of what he's saying, on the deeper level, I just don't really agree. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that hip hop is global now. I think is that anybody can come into the hip hop and black, white, purple, orange. I feel like if you got talent, if you can spit, if you really talented and skillful, I think you should be able to be, in contemporary competition to compete for that top spot. Dr. Dre would have never signed Eminem if he didn't think he was talented. You know what I'm saying? And like Dre was saying in that documentary, like everybody was saying pushing for them not to sign Eminem just because he was white. So Eminem's been going through this all the time. I kind of hope he don't diss Dr. Umar, because like he said, he don't got nothing towards him personally. It's just his opinion. But I definitely like to see Eminem and Dr. Umar in the same room just talking, and just to kind of see I want to peep Eminem's brain and what he thinks of all this, because Dr. Umar, I'm not saying he got some facts in it. He got a lot of facts to what he's saying, but it's just on that deeper level of, I don't know. I can go on and on, y'all.
That after 404 years, you got black people running around playing defense attorney and cheerleader for white folks. You got black people running around after 404 years playing defense attorney and cheerleader. The fact that you got black people arguing for a white man to be considered the greatest of all time in an African art form speaks to how psychologically ill we are as a race of people. After all we have been through in this country, you got black.
But like I said, I know after all we've been through, but wouldn't you want now to be like equality? Because I feel like you're just trying to put all the non-black people in a box when it comes to hip hop. You're like, y'all go over there. Y'all can rap if y'all want to, but y'all can't be nowhere near the top 10 and the top 5. So I don't get it, man. Like, we supposed to be a family, everybody together. It don't matter what race you are. If you talented, you got talent. If you respect the culture, which Eminem does, you respect the culture. I don't get it.
Black men running around playing defense attorney for white folks. advocating for Marshall Mathers. Nothing against Eminem personally. But for a black person to go out of their way to fight for any white person to be considered the greatest of all time in an art form that should be sacred to our community, our culture, and our people is absolutely ridiculous.
That's your opinion.
It is absolutely ridiculous. But let me address the Caucasian community, because I've been called racist.
No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
Probably 1,000 times today, and I don't mind. I absolutely do not mind, because there's a few things we know. After 1,000 years of direct interaction with Caucasians, there's a few things we do know. One thing we know about you is you're not honest about anything if it jeopardizes your power and control of other groups. Let me say that one more time. I'm talking to all you Caucasians who saw fit to have a temper tantrum on my timeline. I'm talking to all you Caucasians who saw fit to flood my inbox. I'm talking to all you Caucasians.
I wanted to address the hypocrisy of perpetrators of racism who call the victims racist. I wanted to address that, but I've been informed that members of the Neanderthal Nation have been reporting me. So I'm not going to be able to go in the way that I wanted to go in. I really wanted to expose the hypocrisy of people who have more energy for a conversation on who's the greatest rapper than they do for protecting black people from the police. I really wanted to deal with the hypocrisy of these Caucasians who have so much negative energy for being told they have no business exploiting black culture. But we don't see that same energy for giving black people reparations. We don't see that same energy for justice for black people. We don't
See, when he starts getting into all that, but the, injustice and like, I'm all for it. I'm with him. I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, where I kind of disagree with him is as far as like, Caucasian white people, coming into our culture and saying or claiming that they're the best at it. You know what I'm saying? It's, obviously Eminem learned from, a bunch of folks, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for dudes like Ice-T and Redman and Coogee Rap and Big Daddy Kane, if it wasn't from dudes like that, Eminem, we wouldn't know Eminem today. Because, you know what I mean? So they definitely, people like me, paved the way for Eminem. He's not denying it. For sure. I just think that, you shouldn't draw a line and, I don't think we should draw a line in really any occupation, no matter if it's a black founded occupation or a Caucasian found. I don't think we should ever draw a line and be like, no, this person can only be the best at it if he's that specific race. You know what I mean? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. You know what I'm saying? I don't think God would even like that. I mean, like I said, if you good, like God gave Eminem that talent, just like he gave all the other rappers a talent. I mean, it just so happened to be that, hip hop was founded by black people. That's just the way it is. But I mean, like, I don't think that, like I said, and you got some like I said, I'm not picking sides here or nothing like that. So y'all might be like, oh no, you're just on the white side, or you're a coon. Like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna always defend Eminem. Like I said, until he just do something that's just like completely wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he say some racist stuff, I'm gonna call him out or anything like that. If he does something, like I said, extremely like that, I don't know, disagree with. But as far as him where I rank him on the top 5 list, I'm always gonna have him at the GOAT. I don't care what Dr. Umar say. I don't care what y'all say. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it, just like how he's sticking with his opinion. So, I hear him, but it's everybody got their own opinion.
See that same energy with making sure African people get their fair share of a country that our ancestors built with their bare hands. See, if they cared as much about police brutality as they care about Eminem being called the GOAT, if they cared as much about police brutality against black people as they care about Eminem being called the GOAT, if they cared as much about mass incarceration reform as they cared about Eminem being called the GOAT, if they cared as much for black women being sexually trafficked as they care about Eminem being called the GOAT, we would have solved a lot of our problems by now.
It's probably the realest thing he just said. I'm not denying it. I completely agree with him right there, man. Completely. There's a lot of racist white folks out there that just really don't care. And another thing about how the whole Black Lives Matter thing, you know how Black Lives Matter came out, and then right after white people said, no, all lives matter, which is not a problem. It just wouldn't be a problem if it didn't indirectly come after Black Lives Matter. Like when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying that Black lives and only Black lives matter and nobody else matter. We're just saying that we matter just as much as y'all matter. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the statistics, technically there's more white people that get killed more than black people, but there's more white people in the world compared to black people, which, you know, evens out that, you know, that we still getting killed a lot more because there's more of them. There's more white folks in that live in the United States compared to black people. So that's kind of how my vision on white folks and saying, you know, they don't the whole, you know, all lives matter thing, but I agree with him right there for sure. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's just crazy. I wouldn't even call myself a stan. Stans, I feel like, are just crazy people. Might get, you know, Eminem tatted on their body and die and kill somebody over a debate. I wouldn't consider myself a stan. I'm just a big Eminem fan, but I'm definitely not, you know, and I'm always for what he's saying about us black folks and equal rights. That's the number one priority within the black community, not, you know, these debates. These debates, I just, you know, I like to just talk about it for fun. It's just, you know, hip hop, barbershop talk, really. But what he's saying, what he's getting into right now, Dr. Umar, with all the whole, you know, white people not caring enough for us black folks and what we go through is, I completely agree with him.
Calling somebody racist when your people are the greatest purveyors of racism and genocide in the history of humanity. Calling someone racist when your people are the greatest purveyors of racism and genocide in the history of humanity, I find it quite hypocritical. Brothers and sisters, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, 13th annual Kwanzaa tour. And it'll probably be the last because next Kwanzaa will be at FDMG. This is probably my 13th and final Kwanzaa tour because next Kwanzaa will be at FDMG. Hit the Cash App, $FD.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know the time steps on this video, but I'm going to end it right there, y'all. It's a lot of other video. I might check the rest of that out. I just don't want this video to be too long. The camera's going to stop at the 30-minute mark anyway. But y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment down below. Do you agree on with Dr. Umar? Because I thought at first he was going to kind of backtrack what he said. But no, he's standing 10 tones down on what he said on that Joe Budden podcast, and I respect it. If you say something, stand on it. And like I said, some of the things that Dr. Umar said, I agree with. And then some of the things he said, I don't agree with. That's just my opinion for sure. Y'all comment down below if there was like a part in that live stream that he kind of talked more about Eminem that I just didn't get to. Just tell me the timestamp so I don't gotta just sit there and watch the whole thing and actually you can just skip over it like that. But yeah, y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm finna be uploading a lot more on this channel. This channel got probably more potential on this channel than even my main, because I got so many things that I'm gonna be talking about on this channel, y'all. From, like I said, it could be political, it can be rap, it's gonna be basketball, football, boxing. I talk about it all on this channel, so y'all gonna really fall in love with me and this channel. So do them things for me, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna see y'all next video.